Welcome back again to Under Umbrella Podcast. Today we're gonna get into it. Today we got an episode of the the Christmas games this year, the 2024 NBA Christmas game. We're gonna give our breakdowns on each Christmas game, who we expect to win, and do we even like the scheduling? Like, do we like the teams they put for Christmas Day for us? That's something we will talk about too. Before we get started, like we always tell you guys, we appreciate you guys for watching us on all different platforms or listening to us on like Spotify on the audio side of things. We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna hand it over to Cam. Cam, do your thing.
Before we start, I appreciate, all the supporters, everybody that watches us, keeps up with us. Continue to like and subscribe to content. But we about to get into it. The Christmas Day games this year. So the first matchup we got for Christmas Day at 12 p.m., we got the San Antonio Spurs versus the New York Knicks. Then at 2:30, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves against the Dallas Mavericks. At 5 p.m., we got the Philadelphia 76ers against the Boston Celtics. At 8 p.m., we got the LA Lakers against the Golden State Warriors. And then the final game on Christmas Day at 10:30, we have the Denver Nuggets against the Phoenix Suns. So we're going to start off with the first game, the Spurs and the Knicks at 12. So we were talking a little bit before we got recording. We're not really feeling that matchup too much with the Spurs and the Knicks. I just think the Spurs as a team, they're still really young. I don't think they have, of course, they have Wemby, and I think that's why the NBA has just been big on trying to get him, on the big stage on Christmas Day. I just don't think his team overall is ready for that type of stage. I still think they have some holes in their roster that they're still trying to figure out how they want to go about filling those holes. But I think it's just for simply the fact that Wemby's on the Spurs, so they want to try to get him that viewership on Christmas Day, and obviously he's a future star for the league. He's going to be one of the faces of the league at some point. So I think that's why they've gone about trying to do that. I still don't think. I think there's other ways that they can go about kind of getting him more exposure, but I don't think. I think that Christmas Day spot could have went to somebody. Definitely another team in the West could have benefited from playing that first slot against the Knicks. But I think, like you were saying before we were recording, like the Knicks and the Celtics or the Knicks and the Sixers, it's a few teams that I think could have took that spot for the Spurs to match up with the Knicks that day. But what you think? What you think about it, Kim?
That I agree with what you said. It's default for the NBA. The Knicks and the Celtics will always play on Christmas Day. They're like Knicks, Celtics, Lakers. They those big markets that everybody know those sports team around the world. But the Spurs, everybody should know I'm a Spurs fan by now. We're not there yet. We are a way better team than last year, but we all know it's because of Wemby. Like, I think we're like 2 games above 500 right now, but it's strictly because of Wemby. On Christmas Day, who I think will probably win, I think the Knicks is gonna win. It is gonna be a good matchup between Cat and Wemby. 2 bigs that could shoot, put the ball on the deck. So I don't have much. I'm just disappointed with the NBA with their last 2-3 years of like how they've been doing the Christmas games. But that's all I think for the Spurs and the Knicks.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Knicks will pull that off. I think they have more depth, and they have a more rounded out roster and a team that kind of has been finding their stride as of late. Obviously, they just lost to the Hawks and Trae Young. I have that on my when we start our reaction segment, but yeah, I think that the Knicks will be able to pull that one off. Like you said, I don't think the Spurs are just quite there yet. And I think even with Wemby, like he's obviously going to be a star, but I think um with that particular team and franchise, I think it'll take them a few years to really get the right pieces around him that can really take them to the next level. Like you said, it's kind of default because we know what he's gonna be. So I think the NBA just kind of just got to that early, and I think he'll most likely probably play Christmas games most of the time. That's just probably how that's gonna go. But we'll go to the next matchup: Minnesota Timberwolves against the Dallas Mavericks, which is basically a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals. Which I think that's probably why the NBA set this matchup the way they did. Like we were talking earlier before we started, I think the Celtics and Mavericks probably could have been a better matchup. But I think at least with this year, I think they were just trying to keep it East versus, well, it's other than the Spurs game, but I think they tried to keep it like, you know, West versus West, East versus East type of thing. But that's definitely one of the games I'll probably watch that game. Like out of all the games, probably that
It's
game.
the best game.
Yeah, because it's, more fitting. We get a rematch of the Western Conference Finals last year. So I think that'll be a matchup that most people would want to see compared to some of the others. But I think in that matchup, I think the Mavericks will come out on top.
I'm like stuck because I think T Wolves might pull it out, but I'll go with the Wolves. I'll go with the Wolves. I think that's probably the best games schedule on that Christmas Day list. So I'm watching that game for sure. That game I'm gonna watch because Ant, Kyrie, and if Luka play, I don't know if he's like off and on still, but like if them three right there alone is big market, and then you added like a Julius Randle, see if all that mix happen. But they like those are big time players. Like they bring everything to the game. So that's definitely a good matchup to watch. I'm gonna take the Wolves. I'm gonna take the Wolves. We're gonna have to come back to these games probably on another podcast episode.
For sure. All right, so then we'll get to the Philadelphia 76ers against the Boston Celtics. I really want to get your opinion on that one first.
Boo! Hey, Paul George probably gonna do a podcast before he go out there. Give us 15 points and they lose. I hope you hear this too, Paul George. But nah, we know the Celtics gonna mop them. Like, yeah, if they was healthy, it would have been a good game too. It'd have been a real good game. But that's one of them games where I think the Celtics should have played somebody more probably upper echelon because we kind of, even though they pre-predicted Boston Celtics and 76ers since the summer, we kind of knew like we didn't know what we was going to get from the 76ers. So that's why I think Boston, being the reigning champ, should have played a more team that they like, all right, this team could probably maybe let them play the Knicks because that matchup would have been good because Knicks honestly tried to build a team to beat Boston. So that would have been a good Christmas Day matchup. But I'll take Boston. I'll take Boston.
Yeah, I think Boston got that one. They got KP back, so I think they're probably they're gonna give Philly some problems. Even with Joel, I want to say the last game they played. He had another injury scare. I'm not sure what happened. I think he got hit in the face or something like that. But
Yeah.
I just don't think Philly's just they in shambles right now, and I don't see it going well for them the rest of the year. That's just my opinion. Sorry, Philly fans, but I don't see it. Too much going on, too many injuries, not enough time to, you know, not enough time with your big three on the floor. So I think this year I don't like we didn't really know what to expect at the beginning of the season. And I think at this point we still don't know what to expect. We don't know if they'll be able to turn things around. I don't see it happening. But yeah, I think Boston smacks them up on Christmas Day and they go home and chill with their family after that cuz Philly it just seems like they're not I don't know. Like it just seems like they're not
Yeah,
winning.
they
They're
cook,
not
bro.
worried. Yeah, they're not worried about winning this year, in my opinion. They just seem like
Yeah. Go
they
get
put
Cooper
that.
Flag, bro. Go get Cooper
Yeah,
Flag. If you
they
guys
just
even
seem
have y'all picks, I don't even.
they seem like they just kind of was hoping for the best in this situation, but didn't really think it through too much. So this is why it's unfolding like that. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll figure out something and be able to turn it around. But yeah, We both think Boston got that one. So we'll move on to the 8 o'clock game. That's the LA Lakers and the Golden State Warriors. It's funny that they play on Christmas Day, and then there was all this stuff in the media about the Warriors possibly trying to trade for LeBron again. But and then he hasn't played the last like 2 games. LeBron hasn't. So I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of coincidental that that comes out again and then he's missing games. And then they coincidentally play each other on Christmas Day, which I think that's just a matchup they're probably going to rock with for a while because of LeBron and Steph and them getting older. And I think they'll try to ride out with that Christmas Day matchup. Just I think because of all the battles they've had in the finals and stuff like that, I think the NBA with how they do things, I think they'll probably ride out with that matchup most of the time, at least till one of them retires. But in that matchup, I'll probably take the Warriors. The Lakers been up and down. I mean, the Warriors were on a little skid not too long ago, but I feel like they picked it up a little bit. I know they got a close win against the Timberwolves the other night. So I think the Warriors are a better overall team at this point in the season. So I'll take the Warriors on Christmas Day.
I'm gonna take the Lakers. I think the Lakers might win this one. Honestly like what I see from Buddy Hill and the Warriors, and I don't know what's going on with the Kuminga and all of that, but just because I think Anthony Davis might just impose his will on this game, because the Warriors never really truly have, unless Draymond lock him up. But I don't think Draymond is like that elite defender anymore. In my opinion, I think he's a good defender, but I think for some reason I think if AD is healthy and ready to go, I think AD might win LA that game, because they need a big one right now. So I'll take LA. I'll take LA.
Yeah, which I mean I could understand that because some games AD just does that where it's like they don't got no
Yeah.
size. He's 10 or whatever he is, so he just goes to work in the paint and just gets dominates inside. And some teams that can work, and then when it's other elite bigs on the other side, sometimes he be a little iffy. But I definitely could see that because, like you said, Draymond's not the same defender he used to be. So, and that's I think the Warriors inside their defense in the paint isn't
Yeah.
elite or nothing like that. So I think a lot of bigs can dominate them inside. So that could happen. But all
Yeah,
right,
it's
so
like
then
Steve Kerr's allergic to bigs. Sorry.
yeah, they're always playing.
Somebody that's like 6'8". And I like what's the kid? Jackson Davis. He a good player for Indiana, but it's like, yo, that dude is not a big man. Like, come on,
Well,
Steve
it's
Kerr,
like
get a
he be
big.
having Gary Payton playing like like the 3 and the
Outdoors.
4. Like he's like 6'2". Like come on now. But all right, we can get to this last matchup for Christmas Day, the 10:30 game, the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. That's a matchup right there too, where it's like it's kind of hard because the Nuggets, Jokic has been putting up crazy numbers this year, and it hasn't been really seeming like it's equaling out to wins most nights. And then you got the Suns, who since KD's went down with that ankle injury, they've been struggling real bad. I think they're like 1-9 without KD or something like that this year. It's like when he's out, Devin Booker just isn't the same. Bradley Beal, I feel like he started off good early in the year, then he's kind of been up and down a little bit since then. I don't know what it is. Like I don't get it how some of these teams are still so reliant on these older stars. Like the Lakers with LeBron, the Suns with KD, like with the Warriors when Steph goes down, it seems like they tend to struggle sometimes. It's like if your team is still that reliant on these middle-aged stars that are still great players, overall, but it's like there's players on your team that should be making it a lot easier for them, and with guys like KD, because he still has had extensive like injury history, like, and I feel like it pretty much happened once the situation with the Achilles, then it kind of like he's had little nicks and stuff, throughout his seasons after that point. But I don't feel like he came to Phoenix for them to be struggling anytime he goes down. Like, you got Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, you still got Nurkic, other, Tyus Jones. Y'all brought in Tyus Jones. It's just like I just don't get how that becomes. I mean, obviously they're great players, so you need them. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the situation with the Lakers. It's like when LeBron don't play, it's like they kind of revert back to the same habits. And I feel like the Suns is kind of the same way. It's like when KD goes down, they kind of act like they're lost. And it's like, y'all shouldn't be. Y'all got two other, guys that can step up and score 30, 40 points, whenever. So I feel like, and it's not necessarily just the scoring. It's like overall, it's like it seems like those certain players just have a calming effect for their team, and when they don't play, it doesn't go in their favor. But I'm not sure if KD's going to be playing on Christmas. Let's just say he doesn't. I would take the Nuggets. But even if he does play, I feel like with that particular matchup, I would take the Nuggets just because I already know Jokic is gonna give Nurkic that work. That's that's just gonna be what it is. That's a terrible matchup for him. He's gonna have that man all over the place, and ain't
Well,
nobody
that's
on
his
the
boy
Sun.
too.
And that's another thing I think with the Phoenix Suns. They don't really have an inside defensive presence. So it's like Jokic is going to do what he wants. He'll be able to find open shooters and find guys cutting. Yeah, I feel like that's, the Nuggets. The Nuggets will end up getting that one. But I think if KD played, it would definitely be a better matchup. But even if he does play, they're going to have to worry about what Jokic is going to do. And I think, especially in a game like that, he's going to have a field day on that man.
I got I got the Suns, especially if KD play. I think the Suns gonna win. But the Joker's gonna have a field day. He's gonna kill that man. But like, I can see the Nuggets winning too. Probably blow them out. But if KD play, I think the Suns win. Just because I think the Suns addressed the problem. I think Tyus Jones was a great addition. In the beginning of the season, damn, he made them look like they could win the championship. So that's why I was
For
like,
sure.
I thought that was like a great addition. But like you said, once KD got hurt, some Knicks, it's like the world is like they just jump off a cliff. Like it shouldn't be that much of a drop off. Like, yes, KD is great, but like Booker should step in and then Bradley Beal take a step up and then let it go until KD get back. But I don't know. I got the Suns though. I'm gonna take the Suns on Christmas Day. We gonna see. I think it's gonna be a good game. They probably might be the second good game, to be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Timberwolves
The Warriors and
Mavericks.
Lakers cool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think the Timberwolves Mavericks is probably the best matchup. Then probably the Nuggets and the Suns, then Lakers and the Warriors. The other two games are just like, I may check the scores at like
They just there.
halftime or something to see what's going on, check the box score. But the other three, those are probably games that I'm gonna try to watch those.
Yeah. So Cam, before we get up out of here, I just want to say, NBA, you guys need to do better with your marketing. I know viewership been down, but we got to pick some better games and we got to work on the All-Star game because you guys are just throwing stuff on the wall hoping it sticks. That's all it look like right now. Shoot, give me a call. I'll help y'all out. Give me a call.
Yeah, they
I'll help
definitely
y'all out.
they got some things to work on for sure. But I think they also need to start getting some ideas from other people. Like I feel like
Yeah.
whoever's brainstorming for them, it's like y'all be trying to do way too much. Like ask fans, ask players, like anybody else is like, yeah, it's kind of irrelevant because we're the ones that's gonna be watching it. So
Or diverse y'all media board, like have different voice in there or something. I don't know
yeah,
what. But yeah, But yeah, before we get out of here, we just want to thank everybody for watching us today on these couple of episodes, man. Enjoy your holiday. Until next time, y'all. See you under the umbrella.